Hello everyone, my name is Master Steve, and welcome back to some more Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition. Last time we took a nice hard look at the Lithuanians, and this week we're taking a nice look at the Cumans. Now, the Cumans are a civilization that have a pretty high skill ceiling to play. They are overall a pretty good civilization. The thing is that they're just very, very slow starters, and you can't really, get into a rhythm with them until you reach the Castle Age. But overall, super, super good. They just require a lot of skill to play. So now let's start off with talking about what they have going for them in the Dark Age, and that is nothing. So now moving on to the Feudal Age, this is where their first actual Civ bonus comes into play, and that is they have the ability to build a second town center in Feudal Age, which is a very underrated bonus, but one that people should be using constantly. Most of the time when you're playing against a Cumans player, I will say most of the time they do get their town center up, but the timing is everything. Building a town center in Feudal Age with the Cumans requires you to get it up pretty much as soon as you advance. It should be one of the first buildings you build when you get to the next age, because it does take a while, and the faster you can get 2 town centers producing villagers, the faster you can have the economic advantage over your opponent. And what you got to consider is it is a massive advantage to you to be able to produce villagers and advance the castle age at the same time. It'll put you miles ahead of your opponent, and it allows you to set up for a very nice castle age night rush. But the thing is, the Cumans have some interesting flexibility in the Feudal Age. They can also build the siege workshop in Feudal Age, and they have access to battering rams. Now that is we'll call it some unique flexibility that no other civilization has. You don't see Cuman players going for a feudal push that often. They definitely have the strongest feudal options in the game, for sure, without a doubt. But the thing is that most of the time a Cuman player is going to be more focused on getting up to Castle Age and getting that night rush coming out quickly. So it's one of these things where it's like, if you want to go for battering rams in the Feudal Age, you definitely can do some serious damage to your opponent, and even take them out in Feudal if you so chose to. And you do have that option. It's one not a lot of people take advantage of, because it is going to require you to have that 2 TC push going relatively quickly. So like I said, if you go to that, you can commit to a hard feudal push and really delay your opponent, and that's just a really, really viable option. Now, their team bonus it's fine, but it's nothing special. Their team bonus is that Palisade Walls have 33% extra hit points. And if we're going to be honest, you're going to be using Palisade Walls maybe in the Dark Age and maybe in Feudal, just kind of secure your base and make sure you don't have any openings. But past that, you're not really going to be touching them in the Castle Age or Imperial Age, and it's just kind of a very, I would say it's a very situational team bonus for you to have. It can come in handy because when someone is trying to break through your Palisade Walls, you do have a few extra seconds to react. But other than that, it's not one that's going to be like a make or break thing that's just you're so glad to have it on your team. It's just one that's it's there, it's nice, but it's not really the most effective thing or the best thing to have in particular. Now, their next bonus we're going to talk about is their archery ranges and stables cost 75 less wood. Now, this is super, super strong because it kind of combines well with that second town center. So when you have to get that extra wood to get that town center going in Feudal Age, but the fact that your stables are cheaper and your archery ranges are cheaper means that you can still have a good Castle Age push ready to go. You can still get those 2 or 3 stables built, whatever you want to do, whatever your plan is. You can get that up and have some resources left over, which is really, really nice. And now their last Civ bonus they have is that their cavalry units move 5% faster for each age. And this one is absolutely amazing. It does not sound like much, but it makes a huge difference. Cuman paladins in the Imperial Age are ridiculously fast. They're super good at raiding your opponent's base because they can chase down villagers, they can chase down anything. They are super, super good. And the best part is that, if your own home base is getting raided, well, you have the ability to get back relatively quickly because you have such fast units. And so overall, this combination of stuff does make them a very strong civ. The thing is that they are very, very much a cavalry-oriented civilization. They don't really have a lot of flexibility outside of that. Now they do have, heavy cav archer as well, and at their archery range. But the other, they don't have arbalester. They do have crossbowmen. They have elite skirmishers. They do have a pretty decently full barracks. They do get halberdier. They do get champion, which is all good. But the thing is, because you have such heavy hitting cavalry units, that's what you're going to be putting all your gold to, and it's just kind of hard to transition over. So keep in mind that, like, yes, you do have options for a lot of upgrades, and you can go for infantry if you absolutely need to, but this is a civilization where you should be going for cavalry units. They're kind of a one trick in that sense. Now, to combine with their very, very strong cavalry units, they do have some awesome siege. Because they get battering rams in the Feudal Age, they do get capped rams in the Castle Age, and that is super, super handy. It's kind of it's an unexpected thing for people to run into, the fact that you could upgrade your rams so quickly in the Castle Age, and it allows them to do some more damage, and allows your army to be a little more hard-hitting, and it helps you to kind of, I would say it helps you secure the map a lot easier early on, because having capped ram does make a difference when you're trying to secure those hills with your castles and stuff, and it will help you deny your opponent some space, take down their castles, and just it really does help you buy some more space and time for yourself, which is super, super nice. And they also do get siege ram, and they do get siege onager, so you do have a lot of good support units and good siege to throw at your opponent, which is super nice. And I would say that your ideal army composition for them in the Imperial Age, you want some sort of combination of Paladin, obviously, because they do have the fastest Paladins in the game, and I mean, like I said, they are super, super good at outrunning Halberdiers, and they also get elite Step Lancers, so if you can get, one of those two going, you're pretty good, and if you combine that with their unique unit, the Kipchak, you have a very strong army combination with some siege thrown in there. Now, the Kipchak is the next thing we'll talk about. It is a mounted cavalry archer, and what's special about it is that it fires a volley of arrows instead of just one. And now you do have to know that only one arrow is going to do the advertised damage, while the other arrows are just going to do 1 damage apiece. Now, it kind of sounds like a disappointment, honestly, because, obviously we'd all prefer to have every arrow doing, the maximum amount of damage advertised. But when you get a mass of them, bunched up and all firing at the same target, those extra, 1 damage arrows do add up, and they do end up being super, super effective. So mass Kipchaks are something that you should definitely be trying to go for. They are super strong, super mobile, and they are strangely good against things like, buildings, things that Cav archers shouldn't be that strong against. They're super flexible, they're great against infantry, and they just do a good job of, pushing your army forward and backing up those siege weapons. So highly recommend their unique unit. It works super, super well, and it should always be a part of your army combination whenever you're playing as this civilization. So highly recommend them, and just make sure you get that comp going, and you'll be super, super good. Now, the weakness of the Cumans is going to be obviously any anti-cavalry civilization, and I would say one that's kind of shall we say an unexpected one is, I would say, the Huns. The Huns are the only civilization that I've found that I struggle with the most when I play Cumans. I do not know if I'm the only one that has that issue, but I have found that when it comes to the Huns, they just have you beat out just enough in each department to counter you. They do have, I would argue that, they have some pretty strong paladins, the addition of Tarkans and stuff. They do just seem to have a bit more of a mobile composition compared to them. The Cumans are quite mobile and quite good, but the fact that the Huns get Tarkans and can just, burn everything down and move super, super fast as well, it does make them a slightly stronger civ. But in terms of direct counters, Incas, obviously, Gurjaras with camels, Hindustanis, I would say the Italians with the Genoese crossbowmen, they do have some pretty hard counters, but it's really overall a very good civ. So the thing about playing them is you just really need to survive, if you can survive the Dark Age and Feudal Age and get the Castle Age, you should be looking pretty good, but you are super vulnerable early on, but once you're in Imperial Age, you're looking pretty good. And then the last thing you need to know about the civilization is that they do not get stone walls. They do not really get any upgrades for towers or anything. They are super, super vulnerable, which makes them an even bigger target in those early ages. So keep that in mind when you're playing them, but overall, if you can just keep your villages protected with your extra town center and get everything boomed up very nicely and get the Castle Age, you're going to be on track for a very, very good game, and they're a civilization that you can really farm some wins with, and they're just super fun to play overall. So as long as you get that order down and just, survive, get to a nice night rush or Cav Archer rush in the Castle Age and just get that nice death ball of paladins and siege units going in the, Imperial Age, you'll have a lot of fun. Super fun civ. I highly recommend them. I would call them a B tier at best, if that, kind of a B plus. They're good, but they certainly have their vulnerabilities and weaknesses in their tech tree. So that about does it for this video. If you guys enjoyed the video, let me know down below. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe for more and help me reach 1,000 subscribers. We're almost there. And any support you guys show always helps. And like I said, let me know down in the comment section down below what you want to see next. And I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.